Our next inductee, Greg Sinclair from the class of 1998. Let me tell you about Greg. He was an outstanding wrestler at Natick High School. He finished with a career record of 127 wins and only 22 losses. During his career, Greg was a 3-time sectional champion and a 3-time state place winner. In his senior year, while serving as captain, Greg Sinclair lost only one match all season and became the first ever Natick High School wrestler to be crowned the Massachusetts All-State Champion and first ever Natick High School wrestler to be crowned New England Champion, all at 125 pounds. For his prowess on the wrestling mat, Greg was named a Boston Globe All-Scholastic, a Boston Herald All-Scholastic, 2-time Bay State Conference All-Star, 3-time member of the Metro West Daily News All-Star team. And his senior year, Greg was named Outstanding Wrestler in the Division II Central Sectional Tournament and Bay State Conference Wrestler of the Year. Greg Sinclair was inducted into the Natick High School Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2010. And tonight we are thrilled to announce him as a 2015 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1998, Greg Sinclair.
Greg Sinclair from the class of 1998 was an outstanding wrestler at Natick High School. He finished with a career record of 127 wins and only 22 losses. During his career, Greg Sinclair was a 3-time sectional champion and 3-time state place winner. In his senior year, while serving as a captain, Greg Sinclair lost only one match all season and became the first ever Natick High School wrestler to be crowned the Massachusetts All-State Champion and first ever Natick High School wrestler to be crowned New England Champion, all at 125 pounds. For his prowess on the wrestling mat, Greg Sinclair was named a Boston Globe All-Scholastic, a Boston Herald All-Scholastic, 2-time Bay State Conference All-Star, 3-time member of the Metro West Daily News All-Star team. And in his senior year, Greg Sinclair was named Outstanding Wrestler in the Division II Central Sectional Tournament and Bay State Conference Wrestler of the Year. Greg Sinclair was also inducted into the Natick High School Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2010. 2015 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee from the class of 1998, Greg Sinclair.
I had a speech written up, but I'm just going to ditch it. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for putting on such a special night. It really is a great experience to be involved with and thought of with so many other great athletes that have come through the Natick High School system. And just to be here tonight, after so many years, since I graduated, it's just, it's really special, and it means a lot to me. I want to thank my wife. We have 3 small kids at home. It's the first time, actually, we've been out of the house. We just had a baby 12 weeks ago, so we're never going home tonight. I want to thank my parents. Growing up, they never really pushed us into any sports. Whether my brothers, and Eric playing football, or me and Chad doing anything. Sorry if I'm, getting a little emotional. I'll take a break for a second. My mom's not with us now, but my dad's sitting right there, and they were our biggest fans, and they went everywhere, whether it was a wrestling tournament, a football game, a baseball game, and they probably were glad we did sports, because when we were on the field doing stuff, we weren't destroying the house. But anyways, I want to thank my brother Eric. He probably, besides my mom, was the loudest one probably in the gym when Chad and I wrestled. And he never missed a match. He almost missed once when I was in the state tournament, because he decided to light off some fireworks in the parking lot in Franklin, and the cops almost didn't let him come watch, but we talked him out of it, so that was a fun time. I want to thank all the coaches and my teammates. Wrestling's an individual sport, but it takes a whole lot more than that to kind of get to where you need to be. You need great partners, you need great coaches, and there's a whole table of alumni over there that between starting off when I was in 7th grade to where I finished off, there was so many guys that I could thank, and I'll name a few of them as I go through it. But it all started when I was in 7th grade, and this is Chad's story, but I'm going to steal it. We used to collect baseball cards, and every week, we'd collect cans or whatever it was to get $1 to go down to Eddie Dealey's baseball card store, and Eddie Dealey said to Chad one day, "Hey, what are you doing in the winter?" And he said, "Well, I'm not doing anything." He was a freshman. He goes, "Why don't you go for the wrestling team?" He was like, "I don't know about that." He goes, "I'll give you a free pack of baseball cards." So naturally, he's like, "All right, sure, I'll try out for the team." So Chad went out for the team as a freshman. Growing up, I had 2 older brothers. And so I was always trying to, do as good as they did or beat them in this, and I never did. And they, whether it was basketball or football or any playing sports in the yard or anything, they always beat me, and because I was always the youngest. But so naturally, I just followed Chad into wrestling too. So I started off in 7th grade. I don't really remember a lot of it. It was just when the Junior Chiefs program kind of kicked off, and I probably lost every match that year. But what I do remember is, I went to the high school to watch my first dual meet. We were in the back gym. There's probably a basketball game going on. And the one thing I remember is seeing the senior captains, Matt Beekman, because he lived right in my neighborhood, and Aaron Polanski. And I just remember seeing Aaron, and I'm like, wow, I was a 7th grader. He was a senior captain. And I was like, he's so cool. Look at his mullet, But anyways, when I was an 8th grader, I think I wrestled my first dual meet, and a kid from Chelmsford just crushed me. I didn't even know what I was doing. And but I remember every loss I've ever had. And I actually, the other day, I wrote down the names of every single kid that beat me in high school, all those 22. And, you just remember those things, and I'm sure every guy over there that's a wrestler probably knows what I'm talking about. But anyways, I go to the state tournament, and I was in 8th grade to watch, the guys. Dave Hamill was a senior that year, Keith Dealey, Danny Tarasi, Justin Carter was wrestling. And I remember thinking wow, I want to be just as good as these guys. I'd watch for half the time. The other half of the time, Jimmy Hamill and Stephen Hamill were fighting kids behind the bleachers, and when they would lose, their older sister Nancy would come over and kick the crap out of those guys. So that was fun, But anyways, when I got to the high school, there was, a lot of guys that, I just looked up to. Justin Carter was a state champion when I was a freshman, and I just remember, looking up to these guys and thinking, how great they were. I was a freshman on the varsity at 103 pounds, and, I maybe weighed 98, but I went out there every single time, and I just had a determination because I knew, all the times that I, lost my brothers or, because we were pretty competitive growing up, that it was only on me. I got to go out there and wrestle this guy, so I really took it to a lot of these kids that I wrestled, so that's kind of I think I had an edge on that. But, I only did one sport in high school. I just wrestled, so I wasn't a 3-sport athlete, but I wrestled all year round, whether it was in the spring or in the summertime. And Coach Annabali carted me and Chad around everywhere. We went to New York, we went to New Jersey, we went to North Dakota, we went to Virginia. We wrestled all the time. And we would just get in the car and we'd go, and we'd go to these tournaments and we'd wrestle. And I just remember, just how great that was. And we really pushed each other, and we really, we really were great teammates. And there's a lot of guys over there like Dave Hamill, Steve Hernandez, the Nelsons, Matt Morrow, Rob Kwan. Coach Kane, Mike Kane, another inductee from a couple years ago. He was my freshman coach. I mean, when you get up to the high school and you already have a state champion as your coach, it doesn't get really much better than that. But, I'll wrap it up in a minute. But, wrestling was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. I still, take part in it, and I still stay involved as much as I can. I do the commentating for the cable channel. Brian, the cameraman, there you are right there. So I'm the voice of the Natick wrestling, so I still try to stay involved as much as I can. And I just remember, my freshman, sophomore, and junior years, I won a lot of matches, but I was always that one step away from kind of taking it to that next level. And, when my older brother Chad, I got to, thank Chad, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be standing here, because I always tried to do better than him. And I remember his senior year, him and Rob took 3rd in the New England, which is the best that anyone's ever done. And I looked at both of them, enjoy it while you can, because I'm going to shatter that record. And that's just the way I was. I was cocky, but I was confident. And I just, I enjoyed wrestling so much. And I loved the sport, the physical aspect, the one-on-one combat. But I also loved being part of a team. And when you're on a wrestling team, you understand that, because you go to battle with your teammates every single day, whether it's running the pond or being in practice or going to the meets, and when everyone's enjoying Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners, you're eating salad and getting ready for your meet. That's just the way it is. But we loved it, and we wouldn't take it back for anything. But my senior year was pretty memorable. I really honestly never thought that I would have done as well as I did, and to be honest, it was probably at the hands of Coach Annaboli, because he prepared everyone on that program for every match that they had. So I owe everything to Coach Annaboli. That guy did everything for me, my brother, the whole entire program, and for any success that I've ever had, it's on him. So he deserves a round of applause. So does the rest of the athletic and I'm just really happy to be here tonight, and I think it's good for the wrestling program, and I'm sure there's going to be many more wrestlers that come through the doors and do the same thing that I am. So thank you, everybody.